Welcome to the special Christmas ceremony from the Global Center for Christ Consciousness. We have a room full of people that are wishing you a Merry Christmas in advance. Everyone, Merry Christmas! Woohoo! We sang a cappella, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because we have several children that attended, so we wanted to help include them even more, so we did that before we went live. Gong, please. Beautiful. Centering in. Heavenly Father, Mother God, we call upon your presence in this uniquely sacred evening. This evening commemorates the dedication of the Divine Mother to be born into a body, to be courageous and give birth to the Christ child, Jesus. We give thanks for her courage in advance before that midnight event. And we give thanks that that Divine Mother that was embodied in Mary is embodied in each of us by our choice. We give thanks that this is there with us, and that even the child being birthed is also a part of us. Father, Mother, God, you watch over this sacred service and this experience for us all and each of us. Join us, yet ignite each of us individually as well, so that the light shines so brightly it's no longer perceptible that we are separate beings. And so it is. We're going to share just a brief message, some ideas, and a ceremony, the candle lighting ceremony. We do this every year for many years now. Keeping in mind symbolism, just think a bit more, a bit deeper into the symbolism of things. It's, Christmas is Christmas, but it's also more. Everything in life is more as soon as we decide that there's more to it, right? So technically, the birth of Jesus, it's interesting because you can say the birth of Christ, but the Christ was never unborn. So technically, historically, it's more accurate to say the birth of Jesus. And this is the greatest supernatural event in history. This involves, God, so many layers of things. I mean, we've done talks about this before. I mean, I'm not going to go into some pieces that we've covered before, but just imagine all the deep symbolism, the virgin birth, the word virgin birth. That means it's the innocent in us, the virgin in us, the innocent in us that gives birth to the Christ child. So some of us think that we just, enough meditations, enough asanas learned and memorized, enough perfect diet, and then somehow Christ is, the I am presence is birthed in us. It's actually not all the doing. It's the innocence in us that gives the birth. Does that make sense? It's like, just relax and accept your innocence. That's what gives the birth. So we do all this, and literally the doing to become enlightened and awakened, and it's the simplest thing of all. Coming back to a place of the innocence. If you want the lights, you can. Yeah, I can tell by your anxiety. Okay, for a little while. Let there be light. So, so this wasn't just a person who's becoming awake to the world. This is something more. Buddha became awake to the world. He sees through it. He still dies. But Jesus does something unique, because Jesus' last incarnation was as Buddha. So as Buddha, he awakens to the world, but then he downloads that to himself, let's call it, and allows his next incarnation to carry a greater light, meaning I'm not just awake to the world. I'm not just an ascended master. I'm awake to the universe. I'm completely awake. I'm going to, and imagine what it takes to embody in density the presence of God. I mean, the body is the antithesis. The body is like I want to forget my divinity for a while, so I think I'll go hang out and hide in a body, is kind of what we did. Hiding in a body, a place that you look limited and separate from one another, but Christ consciousness is the divine. It's not an ascended master level of consciousness. It's not fifth dimensional. This is something very, very unique. And so it's a person who's awakened all the way, the whole universal awakening. And he's not a healer, only a healer. He's not only a prophet. He's saying, I'm going to take this all the way. Complete remembrance of God. So that's incredible. And then to imagine, for me, to think I'm capable of fully awakening, but I'm going to be born into a caste, into a race, into a culture that's considered the least powerful, the least prestigious on the planet. I'm going to be born in a cave, which also is, by the way, cool. I'm paraphrasing biblical statements, but because even that, it looks like a cave. They call it a manger, but it's because they would take caves and put corrals on it, fence on them, and now it's a barn, let's call it. So he's born in a cave, but interestingly enough, the cave is a symbol of the womb of the mother. So even that is back to the mother symbolism. And as much as people want to misperceive Jesus' role, Mary's role, everybody's role in the Bible and beyond the Bible, just to imagine the mind, the consciousness it takes to be that woman. To be told, you're going to give birth, you're raised, you're educated as an Essene, as a kind of the Gnostics, the New Agers of the time. You're holding the deep metaphysical knowledge of life. And she has evolved to the place that her body can hold that frequency, right? I mean, some people fast and they go nuts because they can't handle the new frequency. I mean, they can't go without density, because the higher frequency is a lot. Imagine that frequency. Oh, we'll just take the Christ presence and put it in the womb. So this takes a consciousness that's extraordinary, but it's not grandiose. It's total humility, because that's one role of the Divine Mother and the Christ. One role of the Divine Feminine, the Divine Mother, is to say, I'm here to contain. I'm here to hold space. Not to go and do. I'm here to hold space perfectly. And the concept of immaculate conception, we won't go into that per se. But this woman is told, not only does she know, does she have insight, but she's told, bless you, she's also told on one level or another that some things are going to happen to this child. Like you will cry tears. So it's not like just, wow, we're all just celebrating, singing Rudolph. And this is heavy stuff. You're going to give birth. Oh my God, that's lovely. It's the will of God. Oh my God, that's lovely. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's going to heal people. He's going to free people. Great, 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 great. Imagine how she feels and then he's going to be crucified. A mother doesn't want to hear that. If you've ever been a parent, it doesn't feel good when your children are even sick. You start to get like almost obsessive about what to do about it. To imagine being told or hearing crucifixion, that's heavy stuff. But her job to be the Divine Mother embodied is to hold an immaculate conception, an immaculate concept of her child, meaning you're going to hold a vision, because she's going to do like you and I do. When we want to manifest things, we get into a consciousness, right? And we hold a vision of it. You've heard of it? Yeah. So imagine she's being told, you got to hold this vision. Okay, I will. He's going to be crucified, by the way. Shh. Hold the vision, hold the vision, hold the vision. Yeah, but hold the vision. She's got to hold the vision. She's got to hold it when he's arrested, he's beat up, he's crucified. Her job to be the divine mother is to not let fear make her waver. She has to hold an immaculate, which means pure, conception of him. It's such a bizarre, powerful thing to imagine her at the foot of the cross. It's not Easter, but I'm saying it anyway. At the foot of the cross and thinking, and still somehow God's will be done. Somehow this is going to work out. It's hard for us to do that when we order food in fast food restaurants. Are you sure you got it right? I mean, that's just fast food, and you're worried about whether they get it right. Did you put napkins in there? She has to hold this immaculate, she must hold it. You understand? If she doesn't hold the container, he himself could waver and break off of his mission. It's powerful. So this virgin birth concept is so much more. And to soak in the idea, this is a being that attained high consciousness. So let's say oneness with God. I am Christ's presence, Jesus. He becomes Jesus, but hold that for a second. Before he's born, he's allowed, like you and I or anyone that reaches a certain level of consciousness, you're allowed to hang out on the other side. You're allowed to just bask in heaven. He could have been basking. And instead, no, I have an idea. I'm going to go in and be born, and the kinds of things that'll happen. The Christ child will be born soon after, hundreds of children murdered because of him. And things don't look up at any time since then. There's threats all along his life. To imagine even the fears that Mary goes through, being an unwed mother and so on and so on. There's all this kind of stuff, tensions and accusations that are going on. But to think that this being could sit basking in heaven and said, you know what? I'll go in and play this role. I'll play this game. I mean, it's not easy. It's already challenging when you're in the womb of your mother hearing it's time for delivery and you're like, oh no, this feels pretty good. No, you're going to go in. And by the way, don't be startled, but the doctor will swat you on the butt. You didn't do anything wrong, but he's just got this weird thing that he does. And that alone can annoy a child. Imagine instead being told, you're going in, here's what's going to happen, boom, 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 and you're supposed to just be okay with it. So to be in a divine state of mind, yet capable of saying, I'm going to go in, be pummeled, beat up, spit upon, disrespected, accused constantly, and then crucified, which is a slow several-hour process of torturous death. And by the way, Jesus, not more than a handful of people are going to really hear you or care. It's not like they're all, even your closest friends, they're going to run for their lives so that they're safe. So, in other words, all that you're going to do will probably not be appreciated. Who in the average thinker is going to say, that sounds fair. It doesn't make any sense. I'm saying that because of the amazing role he chose to play. But also, we should think that through. That when we have persecutions and we have this, that do not let that, keep an immaculate concept of whatever you do. Even if it doesn't go right, hold the immaculate concept that everything will somehow work out. Right? As Art was saying from a favorite movie of his, if everything will be all right in the end, and if it hasn't worked out yet, then it's not the end. Hang in there. Hold that immaculate concept, whether you take that as a lesson from Mary or Jesus, who people will not always appreciate who you are, what you do. If you get caught in that, then you're going into your human self, not your divine self. If you want to be Christ-like, then you have to stay out of whether they appreciate it. Does that make sense? So, very, very powerful reminders. And and throughout. And then I love the fact that when you take just briefly stated, the lunar calendar, the solar lunar calendar ends a dozen days before the solar calendar. So there's this null period of 12 days. That's what we call the 12 days and nights of Christmas. So in that null time, it's like, well, what's happening? The moon's done. The solar's still waiting to finish. So what's happening in those 12 days? Mystics said that each of those days will represent the next 12 months of your life, meaning the next year. How you handle yourself in those 12 days, starting with Virgo, the virgin birth, and moving through, not starting with Aries as you would assume, but a few days later comes New Year's Day, which happens to be Aries when you go through the zodiac. So it's Aries, the first, this first sign, first day of the year, and so on. So you watch how you're handling yourself for 12 days, and whatever's happening, let's say day 1, 2, 3, 4 goes well, 5th day, not so well. If I were you, and what the mystics would do is be prepared when that 5th month comes around, and be prepared to deal with that kind of stuff. Like saying Mercury's retrograde, there's certain things that means. So you kind of keep extra eye out on things, right? Contracts, electronics, communication, things like that. So it's very interesting to me. All this, for lack of a better word, sacrifice done. It's really a gift. All of this gifting, there's not, it tells us, so it's right to be thankful. It's right to be grateful to the Divine Mother and Mother Mary for her role. Some churches are like, oh, we don't believe in that. We don't believe in that. We do this, but we don't do that. It's just silliness. It's beautiful. If you say the Divine Mother to some people, they're going to call you a pagan. Say thank you. If you say Mother Mary, they're going to call you a Catholic. Okay. I mean, you don't have to sweat it when people have their little opinions. It's not a shock that Jesus's birth resulted in the slaughter of children. What I'm saying is, that's what this world does to the light. It tries to snuff it out constantly to make people feel there's no hope. Constantly. Politics does it. Science does. Just about any institution, including religions, unfortunately, it's like, well, there's nothing much that fans that flame, that really holds that container, the Divine Mother, to birth the Christ in you and say, we can do it. No sooner are you born, they come to kill the children, meaning your ideas and your dreams and your hopes. But we don't have to keep letting that happen. So what do? Fight, picket. No. Hold that presence and smile despite what people do. And when people say, man, how do you handle this? Say, I have food you know not of. Right? And you can say, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know how I do it. But I just notice that when I pray, I feel fortified. I feel lifted. Whatever it is that you do use to pull off an awakening, I'm saying people are watching you all the time. You can just say, well, no, I'm just a person. I'm just sitting on a bus stop or sitting in a restaurant or whatever. No. All people are watching all other people all the time. They are. And there's always a question. Who am I? Everybody's got amnesia and they don't admit it. So it's why you change names every lifetime. No, but anyway, everybody's always, hey, who am I? You don't know that, but everybody's always asking, who am I? And the answer will be however they respond to you. If people respond rudely, you think, I'm unlovable. You buy into their answer. How are they going to answer very well when they too don't know who they are? So you have all these amnesiacs asking the identity of other amnesiacs, and everybody's in the asylum. So at some point, we can say, I don't know, which sounds disempowering to some groups of people. What do you mean, I don't know? My Post-its that I read about in a book says, I am, all these great grandiose titles, and you have it in your bathroom mirror. The light's telling you, start with, I don't know. Because that humility, which is not humiliating, The humility allows you to say, I don't know, but somebody does. Who? Well, I think my mother-in-law might know. Don't ask your mother-in-law. Even if she's dead, don't ask your mother-in-law on the other side. Ask God. Ask the Holy Spirit. Ask the Divine Mother. Trust me, you have a face that she loves. You know, she can't forget who you are. It's impossible. You are her holy child in whom she is well pleased. So she holds an immaculate concept of Jesus. And who else? Right. And I mean, that's not like a positive thinking. I'm not just going, I really think, the Divine Mother loves you. I'm telling you factually, it's impossible for her to think any other way, but that you are her beloved child in whom she is well pleased. And I'm talking about your light, your soul. That's what she focuses on. And if that's true, then each of us has to sit with this for a second. She's like Jesus, she did for Jesus. She's holding an immaculate concept of me. Yeah, but I did a lot of drugs. No, she's saying, honey, keep coming through. Yeah, but you don't know, and I've been married too many times. I slept with people. I did this, and I did drinking addictions. And she can't really hear that. She honors it. That's where you're at. But that's not where she focuses. And any good parent that ever saw you as a child, and if they were decent parents and they saw you injured, they had to focus on the light at the end of the tunnel, not the pain you were in. Make sense? I remember being put in a pool of, I think it was rubbing alcohol or something, with a fever and screaming at the top of my lungs. Now, my mother, who wasn't the kindest to me, still, my mother didn't say, you know what I would love to do to him? Dip him in freezing cold fluids. She was doing it because she knew, despite the screaming, she had to accomplish something. You see? So all I'm saying is, in that silly metaphor, that we go through all our fevers and we go through all our stuff, and she, can never not love us. So she'll hold space, but she's always looking at where we're going to end up, not where we are now. It's impossible for her to ever lose hope or faith because of where you've been or what you've done. I mean, that's how beautiful it all is. If you think about it, it's fantastic. So, unfortunately, historically speaking, what evidence do we have that what happened? Jesus taught, he taught mystically, he taught deeply, he taught profoundly, and what ended up happening, right? Religions that, and I'm not dissing any particular religion, it's all of them, no. Not any particular religion, but religions took what he taught, literally, historically, and tried to do this to it, and make it into a box, and then fought wars around it, punished people around it, persecuted people, whether it's Galileo or whomever, lots of persecutions, men and women, over this thing that was supposed to be related to Jesus, has nothing to do with Jesus. Why? Because, again, the ego wants to make everything feel hopeless. I'm going to take an image of the greatest light ever born, and I'm going to make it dark. So the early Christian era, and then so on, and then before you know it, the Dark Ages. Is that where we're supposed to end up? And we almost still live in the Dark Ages, even though a Renaissance came about and so on. Man's pride in themselves, man's pride in their systems, their electronic gizmos. It's like the George Harrison song, there's a line, they've forgotten all about God, and he's the only reason we exist. I mean, that's what it's all about. So to have that courage, there's a saying written by a mystic, and that is, the Christ being born in Bethlehem alone, 1,000 times is worthless if it's not born in you once. So 1,000 times, 2,000 years we've been celebrating the birth of Christ. But wait, and I'm saying this honestly, it has to be birthed in us. The greatest event where I started, 2,000 years, the birth of Jesus, the only event that can ever come close in comparison, in frequency, to the birth of Jesus is the Christ being born in us. Think about it. That can't not be true. Otherwise, it means someone is different and special, and then why even try to awaken if someone else is better at it than you? It's like, well, I might not get there. It's impossible. All of God's children born in God's image are meant to return to that image, that divine, perfect image. So no matter how many times Christmas externally is celebrated, can I accept it within myself? Has nothing to do with how many things you have under the tree. That's really cool. Or how many gifts, how many hellos, how many Merry Christmases, whatever. All of that's fantastic, meaningless if we don't allow it to be born in here. So the challenge is sometime tonight, like during the ceremony, sometime tonight, just drop all the conversation part, gifts included, and this talk, and just talk directly with the Holy Spirit, the Divine Mother. You know, you can even have like, hey, listen, God, you can even have humanistic dialogue, languaging. Hey, God, I was listening to this lunatic talking about Christmas. I don't know if this is true. I mean, really? I'm made in God's image, or the Divine Mother holds holy presence, and so on and so on. You can say all that and say, but even with 1 ounce of faith, I'm trusting. You see, just that's all you need. With 1 ounce, I'm trusting, and I'm asking you to step in here. Let the Holy Spirit find a way in. Does that make sense? Okay. Please take a few centering breaths. Set aside all the thoughts, all the stuff. Breathe in the concept. If Jesus is said to be dying for our sins, if that's true, if that's valuable, wouldn't it be even more effective if he lived for our sinlessness? If it's effective to die for our sins, am I sacrilegious to say, wait, I believe Jesus lived for my sinlessness? That's incredible. And breathe in that concept for a moment. And while you're breathing that in, one of our beloved chaplains is going to read a sacred reading for tonight.
From the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ by Levi. The name Jesus means the Savior. The word Christ means the Anointed One. It means the Master of Love. Jesus said, Christ is not a man. The Christ is universal love, and love is king. Look to the Christ within, who shall be formed in every one of you, and he is formed in me. When you have purified your hearts by faith, the King will enter, and you will see his face. The Christ is everlasting life. He came from heaven, and no man enters into heaven except he fills himself with Christ. I came in flesh to do the will of God. God feeds the soul direct from heaven. The bread of life comes from above. The air we breathe is charged with holy breath, and he wills may take this holy breath. He who wants the life of Christ may breathe it in according to your faith. So let it be, and so it is.
And so it is. Remain eyes closed for a moment more. Imagine just a holy presence, light, sparkles pouring from the heavens, a blessing from the Divine Mother. Imagine those beautiful sparkles of light. Flash back 2,000 years ago in a region where there was a star in the heavens, marking the way for the Magi, astrologers, to know where the holy birth was taking place. Something they had been waiting for centuries, and it's finally happening. They come to that place, and there's beautiful sparkles, shimmering, vibrational frequencies of the highest, coming down onto the plain, the hills, and they hear a voice, peace on earth, goodwill to man. But let's hear it today and imagine those sparkles pouring upon us in the room. Instead of peace on earth, goodwill to man, hear this. Peace within you. Peace in your heart. God's will be done. Peace in you. God's will be done. If we accept this peace blessing, then the world will become more peaceful. It's not peace on earth. It's not only peace on earth. It's peace in earth, which I am. To all beings on the planet, to all world leaders, political leaders, the peace I am, the peace that God is, I give to you. Please don't exclude anyone. Everyone, world leaders, people struggling with starvation, people crying out for help. Send it to them, but also send it to the people causing them their pain. Everyone equally blessed will mean everyone equally will receive. Soak that in. Feeling of appreciation. How do you feel hearing the words, I am the light of the world? Can you believe that, accept that, and it's God's will? It's arrogant to say, no, I'm not, if God said you are. It's not arrogant to say, I am the light of the world. It's arrogant to say, I'm not. So we just accept this and breathe it in. And this will help us move into our candle lighting. So the ushers are going to come forward. They're going to light the candle. You can stay in prayer. You can stay blessing mode of wishing good to all humanity. But the ushers are going to light their candles. They're going to come to the ends. Light yours. Please pass your lit candle, not your candle itself, but the flame, to the next person going that way in the first group. Then they're going to go to the end, light those candles, and start bringing them this way. So we'll continue to instruct you, but there's just lighting the candles. It's very great symbolism. It's gone out. Very great symbolism. The light I am, I give to you. So please pass that blessing. The ushers will do that for you, but please pass it. The light I am, I share with you. Beautiful, yes? All right. For the folks online, if you don't have a candle already, you can do that now because it'll take a moment for all the candles to be lit. The light I am, I give to you, or I share with you. I ask you, keep your candle vertical so that you're not spilling wax on yourself nor on the floors. They're going to go to the end and light those, and you guys pass it this way. The light I am, I share with you. Trace, there's no ushers for some reason lighting the end right in front of you. Light the end and have it go that way. Thank you. So we're just about done. If you have a candle that's not lit, wave a hand up high. In the back over there, wave your hand high until they bring it to you. Okay, they're almost there. Good job. Anyone else? All right. If you'd be so kind, look at your candle for a moment. See your candle as being a metaphor. It's obviously a metaphor of the light of God within us. There's a light that tries to stay burning brightly right in the center of our head. That place where the pineal and pituitary awaken, and then all of a sudden there's a glow throughout the mind. Neither right brain, left brain, but whole brain. All of a sudden there's a web, but it's not an internet, it's an inner, I-N-N-E-R, net throughout the skull, because my mind starts to work in unison. Right brain, left brain is whole brain, front, back, the base of the skull all the way to the front intuitive parts of the brain. Everything is becoming enlightened. And mankind, for a countless number of generations, looked at this fire almost as being a god. It gave them warmth, it gave them hope. And when the sun itself is moving back to this certain hemisphere that's been without it for a while, the sun starts moving. The pagan people would celebrate because it meant even in the darkest times, the very darkest day, 1 second later, the sun's already moving back to their hemisphere. So they celebrate the birth of that, meaning we're never without God. Even in the darkest, here it comes again. Look at that flame, feel it, memorize it, all that it means. Warmth, light, enlightenment, the flame of hope. See what it downloads to you. Take a nice deep breath in. You're not going to blow out the candle, so be careful. Deep breath in, and then just good. Keep going. Breathe when you need to and keep it going for a minute. Good. Keep it going. Keep going. And imagine that your tone, your sound, is becoming connected to the flame. almost like you're worshiping it. Honor that flame. Keep the sound going. When you're ready, open your eyes, keep the sound going, blow out the candle, and memorize it in your mind so that the light of that flame is in your mind. You have it memorized. Your brain remembers it. Keep the candle vertical. When you're ready, each person blow out your candle. Be sure you don't have, block the back of it. Not too much smoke or sparks or anything going forward. Good. Keep the sound going. Blow out your candle when you're ready, but keep the sound going. The flame is gone, but the sound isn't. So the symbol of the light is being kept alive through your sound. The light's gone, yet it's not. There's sound. And now, even the sound can fade but not be gone. Memorize the sound. You can go silent and remember the sound and the flame kept alive within us. The Om, the sound of God, the one song universe, right here within us. Deep love and appreciation. Father, Mother, God, even if for some reason we were to forget tonight, remind us in our dreams. We are committed to coming to you tonight, to allow you to download a unique message, whether it's in this room, one and only, or begins in this room, carries into my dreams. I am committed that this evening be devoted to innocence and the birth of my true self. And I ask for that spark to be fanned into an eternal flame. It could never burn out in the first place, but I lost sight of it. Help me to never lose sight again, not of my light nor anyone else's. Beautiful. Thank you. Relax. Stretch out when you're ready at your own pace. And the ushers will pick up your candles now. Just give it 1 minute for the baskets to come around. They'll pick up all the candles. How is everyone feeling? Good, good. We will share also one closing song. Only one verse of Silent Night. It'll show more than one verse, but we're just going to do one verse. It's, I think, 5 or 6 lines. And but kind of from a deep place. Okay? We'll do that in a moment. Thanks, ushers. If you have the other baskets, you can bring those so that they can collect them a little quicker. Okay, good. Thanks. So whether it would be the talk that we were sharing or anything else you're feeling or anything related to the candle lighting, can anyone share something they've gained from being here this evening? Just tune into it. Thanks. You didn't know about the 12 days, nights of Christmas? Nice. You're welcome. Anyone else? Yes. Pardon? Gaining peace. Good job. Even just the colors and the lights and it's all symbolic of such beauty. I love it. Sharing our light with others. Good. Thank you. Appreciating the speaking to the mother. Um, it's such a almost awkward thing because at the Global Center we're talking about Christ consciousness. So people think it's some people think it's like a fundamental Christian, but it isn't. It's Christ consciousness. I mean, we occasionally have somebody say, oh well, I went there, but it's not Christian as I thought, and I kind of think it's funny to me. Did not the rainbow pagan flags or the purple pyramid in front or the words Christ consciousness not give it away that if you didn't see like a bleeding Jesus on the sign out front, they should have probably caught on. But it's an awkward, almost awkward thing in a good way, to be this. It's all about the Divine Mother, but it's not a feminist thing. So some people come and think, oh, he talks about the mother, and then they expect that. It's the most curious and precarious place to be because it's just this beautiful truth. And so it's going to talk about, oh yeah, that sounds pagan. I don't care. And we're going to honor Mother. We have a Mother Mary grotto there, and it's beautiful. Um, but it's not gratuitous when we talk about the mother. It's not like we need the right languaging to impress attendees. No, this is real. We actually seek to understand and experience the mother, the real deal, to birth the Christ in us. And it all makes such sense. Jesus needed not only a woman, Jesus needed a woman to birth him, but Christ needed an awakened, a Christed woman to, birth the Christ presence and so forth. It's just so beautiful. And it really applies to each of us if you think about it. But concepts like immaculate concept, hold an immaculate concept even of yourself. Whatever you're doing, you could be going in for surgery. I'm going to hold an immaculate concept of my full recovery. Like that, you see? Not an attachment, just an immaculate, as far as I know, here's how I will be. Here's how I hold an immaculate concept of my children. Then you might say, well, Michael, I tried it and I failed because they don't get good grades. It's not based on grades. That's called a non-immaculate agenda. You know? Did anybody else have their hand up that I missed?
I did, but
Yes.
just saying it all.
I just said it, what you were going to
Love
say.
how talk about the mother holding the image of
Beautiful.
everyone and birthing us.
Thank you.
Too.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. That's why the Daughters of Heaven is something that was birthed, you could say, through this center, but made realized. The Daughters of Heaven, what is that? It's people that want to get back to understanding the Divine Mother's role, the Christ's role, and not agendas and previous opinions and projections people have, but the real deal. And that person that wants to commit to that is called a daughter of heaven. And some people occasionally, well, why daughter? Why not sons? I don't, just to annoy you, I guess. Well, like it doesn't mean gender. It's not breasted ones of heaven. It's the daughter means the open, beautiful, feminine part of us that wants to be pregnant with the Christ to birth, And people take it literally, so silly. But forgive them, they know not what they do, and that's okay. Daughters of Heaven. There's a website for that, books on that, Daughters of Heaven book, and our conference that we do once a year. You're welcome to join us there. We're going to join in, and the lights aren't coming back on, and folks online, I know it's a little darkish, and let it be a deeper experience. So we're going to share, we'll just only do the one song, if you don't mind, Silent Night. Yeah, just take your time, honey, cue it up. we'll finish the song and we'll do our collection based on, your generosity and whatever you can share. If that's not available to you, don't worry about it. Just pass the baskets, but we'll do that. And we're only going to do nice. That part of it. But if you don't mind, let's go through it twice. Okay? Let's begin. Silent night, holy night, all is calm. Good, from a deep place. One more time. If you don't mind, please join hands. Nice. Just join hands. If you're not near people, you can move to get next to a group, but hold. An extra blessing from all of us to all beings in this world. If you had great Christmases in your life, God bless you. You earned that. You worked it out somehow that it happened. God bless you. Whoever had that, multiply it by 100 today and let this be your greatest ever. Internally first. If you've never had one, we have enough here to go around. We are blessing people who've never had a decent holiday or Christmas. We refuse to accept that as the end game here. Let this be your first then, and not your last. Holy night, holy experience. We have the right to send this blessing to you, and we're choosing to exercise that right. We are holy children of God, and we are blessing you with a sacred holiday experience. All the way through to New Year's and into the new year. Let your new life and your new year be the best you've ever experienced. It is God's will. And all we ask is that God's will be done. And so it is. Thank you so much. We're going to take up our collection and we'll close the service. To the folks online, our deepest love and appreciation for you joining us. The folks here can't see you as much as you can see some of us, but there's a lot of people in this room, and truly, we are absolutely fully intending that you have a beautiful holiday experience. Please soak that in. Just being as generous as you can be, thank you so much. we're going to do our blessing. You may or may not have it memorized or know it, but those who do, say it for them together, please. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Before we break up for tonight, please remember, tomorrow is Christmas Day, so Merry Christmas to you all. Tomorrow is Christmas Day, and we're going to have munchies here. If you don't have family, you're welcome to come here. It's all free. We're just going to provide munchies. So you're welcome to come and join us for munchies if you don't have family, for example. But if you have family, but you want to get away from them, you're welcome to come here and have some munchies. Besides munchies, we'll be sharing a movie as well. Okay? I don't know the name of the movie actually, but it's not one we've shown before, I don't think. So we're going to have a movie. We do that. So munchies and a movie for the morning. I think we start at 11? Thank you. So at 11 tomorrow here. Then Sunday we have a sort of a semi-holiday because it's Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's. We'll have a semi-holiday, but not a extreme holiday theme, but it'll be a holiday-ish service on Sunday. And then we have the burning bowl ceremony for a New Year's, like we're doing tonight, the candle lighting. We will do the burning bowl ceremony for our New Year's service. Okay? That kind of takes us through the new year. How's everyone feeling? Yeah, it does feel great, doesn't it? Yeah, I really appreciate your time. And one of the things, here's a miracle I got to share that I'm seeing now. In the years previous, in Sedona here, in previous years we've had our center, but it was strange. Each year I would end the service afterwards, no offense meant, and I would say to the board members, we're never doing another Christmas Eve service, because it was the strangest thing. I said this, I think, last Sunday, but the people that would show up, they were none of our attendees. They were people that, needed. They what? Off the street. No, but they just, like, people that needed to go to a church service because they're used to going like only once a year. So we had all these Catholics. No, I'm kidding. A Jewish friend, Alan Cohen, wrote in his latest book, "The Jews invented guilt, but the Catholics perfected it." And that's just playful. If you know my heart, I think every religion is beautiful to me. There's some old lady in a Catholic church with more faith than, all the grandiose people with their titles and scholars and Bible theologians. I love it, man. Every church, every synagogue, pagan, Christian, whatever, Buddhist, all of it. You can tell when people are sincerely doing what they're doing. I love that. I love love. And when people love what they're doing, it's so beautiful, including the person that doesn't feel worthy to go into a church, but they still call out to God in their own way. I love that. I love that. I'll close with this. It's a story I've shared once before. It's not a Christmassy story, but still, it's a funny one, I think. I one time did a church service for a unity on the West Coast, and it was all African American. There was me, that was not, and my two assistants, two girls. They're in the back of the room. I'm up here, and you talk about it's either funny or awkward depending on how you want to look at it. But I got up there, and they're like thinking, "Who's this guy? You're like, this guy, who's he think he is? It's kind of funny, So I just start talking, and I said, "Oh, you know what? Let me tell you a quick story." The girls in the back of the room are going, That's all they did. Like, Michael, don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm like, well, I'm already out there now, you know. So let me tell you a story. I said, there's this old church. I won't name a denomination, you know what. There's this old Southern church. And I didn't name anything. There's this old Southern church of one kind or another, and they don't allow African Americans into the building. And so there's old Charlie, he's the janitor, and it pains him every Sunday that you clean. You're not allowed in the sanctuary with the people. And I know, picture this, I'm telling this to an all black church. And old Charlie's not allowed into the church. And one day he got too fed up. It hurt him so badly that he went into his janitorial closet. The people are all in there congregating, doing their thing. Old Charlie goes in the janitor's closet and he just falls to his knees, man, crying. And he says, God, I don't understand. I want to know you. I want to be with you. I want to feel you, experience you. I want to hear you. But they don't allow me into your house. And this light forms at the ceiling, and he hears this voice. Don't take it too personally, Charlie. I've been trying to get in for years, and they don't let me in either. They don't let me in either. And the whole audience, you know, roared with laughter. It was tense for a minute. In any case, God bless you. Join us if you can. You're welcome to join us for munchies and breaking bread and so forth tomorrow, and a movie. It's a nice way to relax. But if you're home too, God bless you. And please expect, in a good way, expect more. This blessing. It's not an act we do. You know, it's not a thing. This is an experience. So please welcome it in your dreams tonight, visions, feelings. If you wake up to use the toilet or whatever, you know, just stay in prayer. Just say, hi, you know, be with me while I pee. Be with me while I walk back to the bed. Be with me while I lay my head down, and go with me into, you know what I mean? Make it a walking meditation. Just do your best to stay tethered to that light. And when you wake up, it's not just another day. It's your birthday. Okay? God bless. Peace be with you all. Please share a hug and a Merry Christmas, at least to one other person before you leave, and we're all sharing it with you. God bless.